Sup PYNP? Today is my push day, well, chest, shoulders, triceps, so I'm going to be making my pre-workout right now. But today I'm going to talk to you about glycogen replenishment and the post-workout window and post-workout shakes, things like that, whether they're necessary or not, and if they're based on fact, and even if they are based on fact, are they relevant to you? Are they relevant to your training, your lifestyle, your bank account? So yeah, I'm going to get on with that. So I'm talking about, hold on, I've just got to wash my shaker. Shaker be washed. Anyway, yeah, so we're talking about glycogen replenishment. So what is glycogen, okay? Glycogen is our energy source, okay? Glycogen is a stored form of glucose, which comes from carbohydrates, whether they be simple or complex, so whether they come from, you know, your Haribo sweets or your pasta, your brown bread, your chocolate, comes from carbohydrates, breaking down into glucose, and then eventually stored as glycogen. Now, why is this relevant to us? Well, it's an energy source, okay? So we've got to think about it as an energy source. So basically, supplement companies will say that you need to get proteins, carbohydrates into your body, into your stomach, straight away after your workout to help recovery, to help glycogen replenishment, things like that. And some people may not even ask why, but you may ask why. And they'll say that basically your body becomes a lot more insulin sensitive after exertion, okay? After a high form of exertion, whether it be cardiovascular, whether it be, you know, from weight training, whether it be from, you know, anything, going out, playing out on the field for a couple of hours, okay? After exertion, high amounts of exertion, your insulin sensitivity goes up. And what this means is that if you consume carbohydrates, proteins, things like that, your insulin sensitivity, your insulin reacts a lot more efficiently, okay? So your insulin picks up your carbohydrates, picks up your glucose, picks up your amino acids from your proteins, and drives them into your bodily muscle tissues a lot more efficiently, faster, to, you know, encourage the recovery process, to encourage your blood sugars to go high and get your energy levels back up, okay? And why does your body do this? We've got to think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. So you think back in the day when we were cavemen, okay, we talk like this, yeah, we talk like that. Two guys were out one day, and they're in their sheepskin, whatever, and, you know, it's hunting day, okay, we need some food. So they spend hours and hours and hours. They spend hours and hours and hours all day tracking down these animals, okay? They got no food on them, and they finally find an antelope after 2 hours of tracking, okay? Antelopes are fucking fast, okay? So these two guys have to work together, and they run, and they track, and finally they kill this antelope, and after, you know, a whole day of hunting, they finally got a nice big bit of meat, and maybe they dig up some roots and plants, things like that. They get some carbohydrates, and they cook up some lunch, okay? So they basically sit down, and they have their meal, they have their proteins from the animal, and they have the carbs from the roots, alright? And now one guy, after his exercise, we're talking about our ancestors here, so after not exercise, but after hunting for hours and hours, and after that physical exertion, one guy's insulin sensitivity naturally went up, okay? It became much more efficient, alright? So he had his meal, and the carbohydrates were utilised a lot more efficiently, the amino acids were utilised a lot more efficiently, and, you know, he was more energised, okay? And the other guy, his mate, he wasn't so good at this, okay? His insulin sensitivity was just normal, okay? Or maybe it was shit, alright? And he had his meal, and it took his body a lot longer to utilise the carbs, utilise the proteins, things like that. And basically, so they're sitting down, they've relaxed, they've had their lunch for a few hours, and then suddenly they hear a noise. And it's a bear, alright? There's a bear about 50 yards away, and it's, oh shit, and the bear's seen them, and the bear's running at them, and a bear in a straight line is very fast. So, the guy who was insulin sensitive, like, after his meal, and he replenished his glycogen a lot more efficiently, it's like, fuck, and sprints, and he goes, he's gone, he's already gone, Alright, he's fully energized. Well, he's not fully energized, but he's a lot more energized than the guy who had the shit insulin sensitivity. And the other guy's like, wait, hold up, oh fucking hell. And he's panting and he's stumbling and he falls, and eventually the bear catches up to him and he kills him, okay? His mate is already far gone. He left his mate behind. He was a bit of a dick, alright? But he ran up a tree and he watched his own mate die. He did that. He wasn't very brave, but his insulin sensitivity was really good. So, what happens now is the guy with the shit insulin sensitivity died. He had no more children, and that was it. It was the end of his bloodline. But this guy with a good insulin sensitivity after his high exertion, you know, he had children, and they lived on, and they passed on his good genes, and then they had children, and they grabbed their good genes, and then eventually, through natural selection, you know, we took over the world, and we're these insulin sensitive people after workouts. Okay, there's some cases where people's insulin sensitivity isn't great, but you know, they're the minority. Most of us, after high exertion activities, our insulin sensitivity goes up because of an evolutionary standpoint. Okay, so we are designed to, after high exertion, be able to replenish quite quickly, so in case we get chased by a bear, we can get away. Alright, and that is why we're good at it. But now in today's society, things have changed. There's not many bears around in town, and you know, I'm not hunting my food for 6 hours. I'm actually can just go to the shop down the road and buy a load of Mars bars. So it's a bit different now. So that is the fact, okay, that after exercise, insulin sensitivity goes up. We are much more efficient at utilising carbohydrates and amino acids at that time. But is it relevant to us? So you should be thinking right now, well, if we're really efficient at it, why shouldn't we do it? Why shouldn't we get the carbs and the proteins in straight away? I'm saying that you can, alright? You can do that. But it's a bit inconvenient, isn't it? You're at the gym, alright? You've just finished working out. And what's the best option? Oh, I'm going to have to buy this product, fill up a protein shake. You know, I spent 80 quid on this product, which is 80% sugar and 20% fucking whey. And it's only got 10 servings, but I can't get home in time, and my body's really efficient right now, so I need to get it in me now. The thing is, you've got to think about the big picture, okay? Later on tonight, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be being chased by a bear? Is there going to be some form of exertion you're going to be doing afterwards? No, you're probably going to go home. You've probably already you've been to work, you've gone to the gym, and now you're going to go home, sit on the couch, watch some TV, chill out, okay? So if you think about carbohydrates as an energy standpoint, for the rest of the day, you know you're not going to need a replenishment straight away. Alright, so there is no stress to get your carbohydrates in straight away. And just because you're more efficient at doing it after your workout doesn't mean you're not efficient at doing it a few hours after your workout, okay? You're still very adaptive, very, very efficient at utilising carbohydrates and proteins a few hours after your workout. It's just, you may not be as efficient, but who cares, alright? You're not being chased by a bear later on. So now you're going to think, well, if that is true, if what you're saying is true, that I don't have to get my carbohydrates, I don't have to get my proteins in straight after a workout, then why is that all I hear in the industry? Why is this post-workout window always in the industry, okay? And that is because that supplement companies will throw these facts about insulin sensitivity, insulin being more sensitive after workouts. They'll throw that at you, and they'll tell you that your body's going to be more efficient, which is true, but and that will force you to, like I said, buy their products. So at the gym, on the way home from the gym, and you're thinking, oh, I'm really efficient at utilising my nutrients right now, I should really get something in me, but I haven't got a frying pan and I can't cook up some chicken right now, so I'm going to have to buy a whey protein, I'm going to have to buy a post-workout shake. And the thing is, when you look at a post-workout shake, they are full of simple carbs, and that is fucking cheap. Alright, that's really cheap, okay? They'll have about 20% protein, about 80% carbs, and they'll give it to you saying it's the best ever product for post-workout. It will boost your recovery process, and it will send your gains through the roof. And so you pay 80 quid for 10 servings for these shakes every day, and you become hooked on them because you think, well, I need it, and I can't cook dinner, I can't cook a tea straight away, so I need this, so I need to keep buying it, and you get hooked on it, and you buy more and more and more, and therefore the supplement companies make a profit from it, okay? And this is a bad thing. It's very good business, but it's a bad thing, because basically it's based on fact, but it's not relevant to you, it's not relevant to most of us. Sure, if you work out twice a day, say if you work out in the morning, and you have a high exertion job that you do later on in the day, maybe it's good to get some fast acting proteins and carbs in you to make you feel a bit better, to boost that recovery process. But you don't have to pay for supplements to do that. You can get your carbs from other sources. Pack a lunch, you know, pack a breakfast, pack something that's cheaper. You can get your carbs from anywhere. Have some wine gums, have a chocolate bar, have just cook up anything. You know, if you are organised and you are prepared, then you should be able to sort yourself out cheaper than having to buy an 80 quid tub of post-workout shake. Now, you may come back at me and you may say, well, hold on dude, I was at the gym and I hit a plateau, you know, and I got advised to take a post-workout shake, and suddenly I started putting on mass again, and suddenly my strength went up. I'm going to assume that you don't track your macronutrients. You don't really track what you get. You eat the same things roughly every day, and basically you were training and you were eating roughly the same things every day, and you hit a plateau. You weren't eating any more calories, and therefore you weren't able to gain any more muscle mass, and therefore strength just stopped. Okay, it stopped. And then someone said, have an expensive post-workout shake. And to you it's just a shake, yeah? But if you break it down, that has a load of carbohydrates, that has a load of proteins, okay? And that calculates to calories. And some post-workout shakes can be over 1,000 calories, okay? And the average is probably around 300, 400 calories. And if you suddenly buy a post-workout shake and you start taking that, that's an extra load of calories on top of your diet. It's an extra load of proteins and an extra load of carbohydrates. So that's going to push you into a more calorie surplus. That's going to allow you to put on weight, and it's going to allow your strength gains to increase. That is why your strength went up. It's not just because you were taking a shake straight after your workout. It's simply not true. So my advice to you is, don't buy into all the commercialized magazine sponsored athletes bullshit, because you know they have monetary incentive, okay, and they may throw scientific facts at you, they may throw scientific bullshit at you, and it will confuse you, and you know you'll just take their word for it because maybe they're a guru, maybe they're famous, maybe they're sponsored by a company and you respect that company. But at the end of the day, they just want your money, and they just want to make money. They don't know you, and you know, some people are concerned with people's results, but at the end of the day, money's what make the world go around, okay? So you got to think about these things. When you see a product, research into it, and then when you find out facts, ask why those facts are true, and ask why those facts are relevant towards your life, and then assess whether these supplements are really useful, or whether you could find a cheaper way to substitute that, a cheaper way to increase your calories, a cheaper way to get carbohydrates in, okay? And don't be pressured to think that just because your body's more efficient at utilizing something straight after your workout doesn't mean that your body becomes inefficient later on in the day. Your body is very clever, and if you consume your food later on in the day, you'll be fine. I mean, I work out fasted, and then I don't have a post-workout shake. Sometimes I'll do cardio afterwards, I'll get home and I'll sort a few things out on PYNP on Facebook, and then I think about making tea. As long as you got to think about that overall picture, okay? We weren't designed, we didn't evolve to need to eat every 2 hours. You know, we didn't always have access to food. Our bodies are clever. If that was true, if we needed to eat, if we were only able to recover if we had food all the time every 2 hours, then we simply wouldn't have evolved and been the species we are on this world today. So don't be pressured into thinking you need those post-workout shakes straight away. You need those whey proteins. They're not miracle drinks, they're simply nutrients which you can get from other sources, okay? Other lean proteins, other good sources of carbohydrates. You know, the other day I was at the gym and it was my deadlift day. I trained fasted because that's how I like to do it. I feel comfortable that way. And my friend Sam wanted to play some tennis, so I went to the tennis courts, and I was fine for the first half an hour, and suddenly I was getting really weak, I was really tired, started getting little shakes, and I knew my blood sugar was down. I needed food, I hadn't eaten in a while, and now I was playing tennis and I just did a fucking workout. So I knew I had a Snickers in my bag, and I also had a bit of dairy milk chocolate, okay? And you know, I ate that, and because I had an empty stomach, it utilised, and my insulin sensitivity must have been quite high, because within the next 20 minutes I actually felt a lot better. My blood sugar had rose, and I just felt a lot more energetic. So that's how powerful insulin sensitivity can be. So you can utilise it to your own benefits, but I used a friggin' Snickers, okay? You don't have to buy expensive, bland, boring wheys and post-workout shakes. I hope this video helps. I haven't actually made any of my pre-workout yet. Yeah, I've just been talking to you. But anyway, I'm going to make the pre-workout now, and I'm going to get off and do chest, shoulders and triceps. It's going to be fun. Alright, see you later. Peace!